We all know that managing payroll is about way more than just handing out paychecks at the end of the month. It is really the core of your HR operations. And getting it right into your HRM software means ensured fairness and transparency across your whole team. Today, we are diving deep into Zoho People 5.0 to show you exactly how to set up the compensation module. We will be covering everything from basic configurations to complex salary structures to keep your organization running smoothly. So let's see how it works. Now that we have a clear idea of why this matters, let's jump right into the first phase of the setup, which is all about your general preferences. When we navigate to the settings and click on compensation, the very first thing we need to decide is how we want to track employee pay. Zoho gives us two main paths here. We can choose to track only the annual CTC, or we can go for a more detailed approach that includes a full breakup of benefits and components. If we choose the employee pay only option, it keeps things simple, but disables the ability to create complex salary structures later. On the other hand, the detailed tracking is where the real power lies for most growing businesses. While we're in these settings, we also have the option to enable a round-off feature. This is great if we want to avoid messy decimal points and keep our salary figures as nice, clean, whole numbers. Moving along, security is a huge priority when we're dealing with sensitive financial data. Zoho People 5.0 includes a unique re-authentication feature that we find incredibly useful. We can set a duration, say every 30 or 60 minutes, where the system will require us to log back in with our email and password. This ensures that even if we step away from our desks, the compensation data remains protected. Another high-level feature we should look at is the hike push sanction. If we're using the performance management system, salary hikes can be pushed directly from appraisals into the compensation module. By enabling the sanction option, we add an extra layer of security where a compensation administrator must approve the hike before it actually goes live in the system. Lastly, for this section, we can decide how employees receive their revision letters. We can have the system send a simple notification with a link, or we can have the actual letter attached as a PDF directly to their email for their records. After we have those ground rules set, we need to think about the global nature of our teams, which brings us to currency settings. If we have folks working in different parts of the world, we aren't limited to just one currency. We can set a base currency for the entire organization and then add as many additional currencies as we need. When we add a new one, we just pick the code, set the format, and input the current exchange rate. This makes it so much easier when we start building salary templates for international offices, as the system will already have those values ready to go. Once the foundation is solid, we can move on to the second major step, which is building our salary structures. We like to think of a salary package as a puzzle made up of different pieces. These pieces are our salary components and benefits. To start, we head over to the Salary Structure tab and begin adding components like basic pay, fuel allowances, or even deduction components like income tax. For each one, we can specify if it is an earning or a deduction and whether it's a fixed amount or a variable one. For instance, we might have a fixed basic pay, but a variable performance bonus that depends on how well the team did that quarter. We can even use custom formulas if our calculations are a bit more complex. Beyond just the standard pay, we also have the benefits section. This is where we add things like meal passes, medical insurance, or annual bonuses. Once we have all these individual components and benefits created, we can bundle them together into what Zoho calls a salary package. This is where the automation really kicks in. We can create specific packages based on certain criteria, like a senior developer package that is only applicable to employees with over 10 years of experience at a specific location. By mapping our components to these packages, we ensure that when a new hire fills that profile, their compensation is already standardized and ready to roll. Now, as our team grows and people move up, we're naturally going to have salary revisions, which leads us to step 3, creating revision letters. We want these letters to feel professional and personal, not like a generic form. In Zoho People, we can create multiple templates for different levels of the organization. We have the choice to either import a template we already have or build one from scratch with the built-in editor. The best part here is using merge fields. These allow us to make the letters dynamic, so the system automatically pulls in the employee's name, their new salary, and their effective date. It saves us from the tedious task of manual typing and ensures every letter is accurate and addressed correctly. Finally, we have to talk about who actually gets to see and touch this data, which is our fourth and final step, setting up permissions. In Zoho People 5.0, the security model is very strict by default. Initially, only the super admin has access to the compensation module. Even other admins are locked out until the super admin explicitly gives them permission. We can manage this under the Manage Applicability section. We can grant roles like managers or team members the ability to see their own data, but they won't be able to see anyone else's unless we add additional permissions. For example, if we want a manager to be able to see the salaries of their direct reports, we have to specifically set that up. We can even go a step further and designate compensation administrators. These are specific users who can manage the setup or the data for certain locations. This localized control is perfect if we have an HR lead in New York who only needs to manage the payroll for the US office while someone else handles the UK. Once these permissions are locked in, our setup is complete, and we have a secure, automated, and highly organized compensation system ready for action. Setting up your compensation module in Zoho People 5.0 is the best way to bring order to your payroll and HR processes. By following these 4 steps, you ensure that your data is secure, your salary structures are consistent, and your employees stay informed. If you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives and hit the notification bell so you never miss a tutorial.